Happiness is Free by Lester Levenson and Hale Dwoskin. Book 1, Spiritual Growth, Happiness, Love. I was born on July 19, 1909, in Elizabeth, New Jersey, into a middle-class family. A very shy person by nature. I tried to do things the way they were supposed to be done, by following the rules, getting a good education, and striving to be the best in my field. My natural inclination was towards science, especially the science of the world and of human beings themselves. I graduated from Rutgers University in 1931 with a degree in physics and then worked more than 20 years in physics and engineering. In physics, I focused on research and development of measuring instruments and automatic controls with Brown Instrument Company, which later became part of Honeywell. In engineering, I worked in multiple fields: mechanical, electrical, construction, heating and venting, and even marine engineering. Over the years, I found myself involved in 14 different branches of engineering. I also started businesses, including restaurants, lumber, building, and oil, often mixed with my engineering projects. I thought I wanted success and money, but what I was really searching for was something deeper, the answer to life itself. At the time, I did not know it. Despite my efforts, nothing gave me the answers I was looking for, and as time went on, I grew more depressed and sick. By 1952, I had gone through years of constant illness. I suffered jaundice several times a year. I had an enlarged liver, kidney stones, spleen trouble, alternating hyperacidity and hypoacidity, ulcers that perforated and created lesions, and on top of all of this, I endured migraine headaches for 10 years. It all came to a head in 1952 when I had my second coronary thrombosis. After that second heart attack, the doctors told me I had little time left to live, that I might die at any moment, and that I should avoid physical exertion as much as possible. I was terrified of dying, but I said to myself, "You are still breathing, Lester. There is still a chance." So I sat down and began thinking deeply, almost around the clock. At that point, I was about 42 years old, and despite all I had accomplished, I had not found happiness or health. All the knowledge I had gathered meant nothing in the face of my suffering. I had studied Watson's behaviorism in the 1930s, Freud's work in the late 1930s and 1940s, as well as philosophy, logic, and economics. I had studied much of what man had discovered, but now I was at the end of the line. That knowledge was of no use. So I decided to start again from scratch. I would put aside everything I had learned and begin at point zero, asking the most basic questions. What am I? What is this world? What is my relationship to it? What is mind? What is intelligence? What is happiness? I began by asking myself what I wanted out of life. The answer was simple: happiness. I then looked for the moments in my life when I had felt happiest. To my surprise, I discovered that I was happiest when I was loving. Happiness was not about being loved, but about my own capacity to love. That realization was my starting point. I began to correct my thoughts and feelings, moving from the position of wanting to be loved into the position of loving. As I did this, I discovered something else just as important. I saw that I had been trying to change the entire world. That need to change the world had been one of the causes of my ulcers. I realized how much that tendency enslaved me to the world, and so I decided to reverse it. As I pursued these two directions, letting go of the old subconscious pressures while focusing on loving instead of seeking love, I felt myself becoming lighter, freer, happier, and healthier. Seeing how good this was, I decided that if a slice of pie tasted this good, I wanted the whole pie. I resolved to keep going until I reached the full answer to what am I, what is this life, and what is my relationship to it. That determination brought me to answers in about 3 months. By the end of that period, all my physical ailments disappeared, my miseries lifted. I arrived at a state of constant happiness, free from sorrow. Life did not stop presenting challenges, but I found myself able to resolve them almost instantly. Having cleared away the negative thoughts and fears, I could go straight to the solutions and receive them quickly. My entire life turned around. I went from sickness and depression to health and joy. During this process, I also saw how deeply connected we all are. Each of us is like a broadcasting and receiving station, unconsciously tuned into one another. When enough of our suppressed energies are released, this becomes obvious. Once you recognize this, it is natural to want everyone to discover what you have discovered. That life is meant to be beautiful, full of health and free of sorrow. After this realization in 1952, I wanted only to help others find what I had found. If I could do it in 3 months, starting from desperation, then I believed anyone could do it with enough determination. I was at the lowest point in my life when this began. The doctors had warned me not to take a single step unnecessarily. The fear of dying weighed on me so heavily that I considered ending my life. I even had the morphine the doctors had given me for kidney stone attacks. But then I noticed that I was still alive, and as long as I was alive, there was hope. That was when I decided to question everything again. As I reviewed my life, I noticed that even when I was loved by others, it did not bring lasting happiness. The feeling of being approved of by someone was temporary, but when I was loving, I felt happy continuously. I dug into past relationships and saw that much of what I called love had been selfish. I had wanted approval and affection, not truly wanted the other person's happiness. When I shifted that inner stance, changing it to genuine love, I felt freedom. This insight into love was the first link in the chain of happiness. I saw that happiness was equal to my ability to love. If I could increase my capacity to love, I could increase my happiness. That realization fueled my determination. I continued examining my mind. I saw that every event in my life had a thought behind it, though I had not noticed before because of the time gap. With this realization, I understood that I was responsible for everything that had ever happened to me. I had not been a victim of the world. My thinking had created my life. This was an incredible freedom. I saw that I could now consciously determine the direction of my life. As I continued, I realized that my body, which had seemed so sick and damaged, was actually perfect when seen from this new understanding. The ulcers, adhesions, and lesions no longer held any reality for me. I knew with certainty that my body was healed, and it was. These discoveries brought me greater freedom from unconscious drives and fears. I no longer felt enslaved to making money or seeking approval. Instead, I felt joy that I had never known before, a happiness so great it overwhelmed me at times. I tested my new insights on love in every way I could. I practiced imagining the women I desired most being with other men, even ones I disliked, and feeling joy for them. I practiced loving those who opposed me, even when they made things as difficult as possible. The more I stretched this capacity to love, the more joy I felt. At times, the happiness became so intense that I could hardly move. I was paralyzed by ecstasy. Other times, I was filled with so much energy that I had to walk or run for hours, sometimes days, just to release it. I saw that the source of intelligence and energy was infinite and harmonious. Harmony governed everything, from the planets to the smallest details of life. My old belief in a solid, material world collapsed. I realized that mind determines matter, not the other way around. What I had thought of as concrete reality was only thought. This realization shook me, sometimes literally. My body trembled for days as the old foundation gave way, but gradually I saw clearly that my true self was not my body or even my mind, but the unlimited beingness underlying all. That beingness is one, like an ocean, not divided into separate drops. In that recognition, the illusion of separation ended. Life before and after this realization was like night and day. Before, I was sick, depressed, and hopeless. After, I lived in joy and harmony. Each day, things fell into place with ease. Driving through New York City, I rarely hit a red light. Parking spaces opened up for me. Taxi drivers and policemen gave me their spaces without understanding why they did it. Store clerks and waiters went out of their way to serve me. I would order something in a restaurant and then change my mind. The waitress would bring what I wanted, even though I had not told her. When you are in harmony, every atom in the universe moves to fulfill your thought. But the true delight is not in the events themselves, but in watching the harmony of life, which is God in operation. That harmony fills you with such love that you love everyone and everything intensely. From 1952 until the end of my life in 1994, I dedicated myself to sharing this discovery with others. I lived joyously for others, not from sacrifice but from freedom. Not everyone understood me. Often the very people I helped most resisted me the hardest. Still, it never disturbed my happiness or peace. For many years I worked with people one-on-one and in small groups. Later, with the help of students, I summarized my teachings into a practical method that could be practiced by anyone. That method became known as the Sedona method. I wanted people to know that they did not need me or any teacher. They could discover their own freedom directly. What I found was simple but profound. Happiness is free. It is here for everyone now if we are willing to let go of everything that covers it up.